Have you ever stopped to think that maybe the universe we live in is just a dream? And what if I told you that there is an entity known as Azathoth, a chaotic and dormant god, whose mere awareness could obliterate everything we know? It may sound like pure fiction, but what if it's closer to reality than we imagine? This theme crosses the boundaries of esotericism, occultism, and even the most advanced scientific theories. Get ready to dive into a mystery that challenges everything we believe about the supernatural, the pacts that govern existence, and the rituals that sustain reality. Azathoth, the cosmic dreamer, is not just a figure from fantasy literature, he is a symbol of primordial chaos. Imagine an entity that neither sees nor hears, yet sustains the fabric of the universe with its mere unconscious existence. Lovecraft introduced us to this concept as a warning, almost like a lesson about the fragility of what we take for granted. Think about it. What would happen if this god woke up? The answer is simple and terrifying: everything would cease to exist. Just like a person waking up and dissolving their dreams, Azathoth would destroy our universe without even realizing it. If you think this is pure fantasy, consider human dreams. How many times have you woken from a dream so vivid that it seemed more real than life itself? Now, imagine that this dream was responsible for keeping everything around you intact. Azathoth, in this analogy, is a dreamer on a cosmic scale. Ancient rituals in various cultures, from occultism to esotericism, tried to speak with this kind of primordial force. These cults, though shrouded in mysticism, reflect humanity's attempt to understand the fragility and complexity of the world we inhabit. Lovecraft wrote about Azathoth not only to frighten us, but to make us think about the true nature of existence. This chaotic entity has no purpose, will, or morality, it simply is. This leads us to reflect: could life itself be nothing more than a series of disconnected events in search of meaning? In occultism, this search often leads to the invocation of entities and the study of pacts that govern the supernatural. However, with Azathoth, the only certainty is absolute chaos. It's the perfect metaphor for our deepest fears and most unsettling dreams. A practical example of how this concept can be applied to our understanding is the study of meditative rituals. Ancient cultures believed that meditating on chaos helped find internal order. How about trying this? Set aside a moment of your day to connect with the unknown, whether through meditation or contemplating ideas like those of Azathoth. Though it may seem strange, you might find answers to deep questions in your life. Perhaps the chaos you see around you is just the prelude to a higher order. Still on the symbolism of Azathoth, think about the incessant and dissonant music that, according to Lovecraft, keeps the god asleep. This image can be compared to the constant distractions of modern life. The noise that never ceases, the flows of information that distract us from what truly matters. Just like a ritual that seeks to silence the mind, we can take inspiration from this concept to learn how to shut out the noise and focus on what is essential. Have you ever tried setting time aside to silence your mind and reassess your priorities? Practicing mindfulness could be your first step. Azathoth also teaches us about impermanence. Imagine that all your efforts and achievements are merely fragments within the dream of something much greater. It's not exactly comforting, but it's liberating. Esoteric cults often explore this idea, offering rituals to connect with the divine and transcend the mundane. Have you ever considered that the meaning of life may lie beyond material accomplishments? Perhaps a simple act, like reading philosophical or esoteric works, could open doors to new perspectives. Books like the Urantia Book or the Book of Spirits could be a great start. The transition to the next concepts is almost inevitable. The story of Azathoth is just the tip of the iceberg of a series of historical and philosophical parallels. Have you ever wondered how mythologies and beliefs from different eras and cultures dealt with such unsettling ideas? These connections go beyond what we imagine, echoing through time in ways that we often don't even perceive. Let's explore how the concept of a chaotic creator resonates in ancient traditions and modern philosophies. Prepare for a journey that will challenge your deepest beliefs about the supernatural and the unknown. The idea of Azathoth, although best known through Lovecraft's mythology, has roots that echo through various cultures and philosophical traditions. One of the most intriguing parallels is with the Gnostic concept of the demiurge, a creator entity that, paradoxically, is blind to the true power of the universe. In Gnosticism, the demiurge is seen as an imperfect creator, ruling over an illusory world. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? It's as if Lovecraft reinterpreted this archetype, making it even more terrifying. Just as the demiurge shapes the world without knowing the true divine, Azathoth is the chaos that creates without intent, reinforcing the fragility of our existence. Another fascinating parallel can be found in Hindu traditions, especially in the philosophy of Advaita Vedanta. In this view, the material world is an illusion, Maya, while the ultimate reality is Brahman, the Absolute. Now think, Azathoth can be seen as a symbol of this Maya, a reflection of the apparent chaos that hides the underlying unity of the universe. Many esoteric and occult traditions sought to explore these ideas through rituals that transcended the physical world. Imagine applying this concept to your everyday life. Instead of clinging to chaos, how about seeking what lies behind it, like in meditative practices that reveal inner order? There's something universal about the idea of a chaotic creator. Ancient mythologies, such as the Norse, speak of primordial forces like Ymir, the ice giant, whose body gave rise to the world. These stories echo the same principle: order emerges from chaos. Azathoth, in this sense, is a literary and philosophical update of this archetype. In occultism, chaos is seen as the starting point for creation, and many rituals explore this dynamic. How about you try it? Use the symbolism of creating something new amidst disorder by writing down your goals or even reorganizing your life. But we don't need to go so far back in history. Modern science itself gives us similar examples. Think of the Big Bang Theory, a chaotic event that suddenly gave birth to everything. Doesn't that seem eerily similar to Azathoth's awakening? This perspective leads us to reflect on the invisible pacts that keep the universe in balance. What can you learn from this? Perhaps it's time to embrace the unpredictable aspects of your life and turn them into starting points for something greater, just like the entities of ancient legends that transformed chaos into power. The philosophical parallels also extend to Hegel and his idea that cosmic consciousness is in constant evolution. Here, Azathoth is almost an antithesis. Instead of evolving, it is fixed, unconscious. This raises an interesting question about humanity. If we are conscious within the dream of a chaotic entity, is our mission to bring meaning to this chaos? Invocation rituals and Gnostic studies often seek answers to these questions. Books like the Christian Gnosis can be an excellent starting point for those who want to delve deeper into these ideas. The connection with the supernatural and the entities that shape the cosmos is not just an intellectual exercise but a practical experience. Cults throughout history have often used pacts and rituals to try to understand or influence forces like Azathoth. Even today, this can be applied symbolically. Think about how you can create pacts with yourself to achieve goals or overcome challenges. For instance, commit to a routine that allows you to explore new horizons, whether physical, mental, or spiritual. Now that we've explored the historical and philosophical echoes of Azathoth, we begin to see how it's not just a fictional creation, but a synthesis of universal ideas. These connections show that chaos and order are deeply intertwined, both in ancient mythologies and in our modern lives. But the story doesn't end here. Let's move forward to understand how these ideas resonate in the scientific world and how the concept of Azathoth can serve as a powerful metaphor for the uncertainties of modern physics. Are you ready for more? When we think of Azathoth and the chaos it represents, it's not hard to draw parallels with modern scientific theories. Quantum mechanics, for example, presents us with a universe where uncertainty is the rule, not the exception. Subatomic particles seem to be everywhere at once, until they are observed. Now imagine Azathoth as the unconscious force guiding these probabilities. This may sound more like occultism than science, doesn't it? Yet, many of the most advanced ideas about reality resemble pacts with the unknown. We accept chaos as the foundation of existence. The multiverse theory is another example. It suggests that there are infinite parallel universes, each resulting from different quantum choices or events. If Azathoth is the dreamer, then perhaps he is the center of this multiverse, his dream encompassing all possibilities. This idea is not too far from Gnosticism, which proposes a fragmented reality governed by incomprehensible forces. Have you ever stopped to think how your daily choices might create completely different realities? It's like creating your own microcosm of possibilities. These scientific theories also connect with the idea of simulation. Some scientists argue that our reality might only be a simulation, created by a higher intelligence. In this case, Azathoth could be seen as the original programmer, a blind demon, who launched the code and let chaos run its course. Just as in occultism, where rituals are used to access hidden dimensions, science seeks ways to hack reality. Curious, isn't it? Have you ever tried to think of your life as a system that can be reprogrammed? It's a transformative perspective. As we explore these connections, it becomes clear that the supernatural and science are not so distant. The invocation of Azathoth, symbolically, can be compared to the human quest to understand the cosmos. The telescopes and particle accelerators we build are, in a way, modern rituals to unravel the secrets of the universe. Think about this the next time you look at the stars. Each observation is a silent pact with the unknown. What would you discover if you look deeper? If Azathoth's chaos can be associated with quantum behavior and the multiverse, think about how this affects your own life. Many believe that the unpredictability of the universe also applies to our choices. Each action is like a small ritual, creating new possibilities. Perhaps you can practice this consciously. Do something simple: write down 2 or 3 important decisions you need to make and consider the effects each one could have. This exercise, inspired by the idea of creative chaos, could help you better understand how your choices shape your reality. Another fascinating scientific implication is the concept of entropy, which describes how everything in the universe tends toward a state of disorder. It sounds grim, but what if this disorder isn't just destructive? Azathoth may symbolize this chaotic flow that generates infinite possibilities. A good example of this is creativity. How many times have you seen something seemingly confusing transform into a brilliant idea? In occultism, this transformation of chaos into order is central to many rituals, and maybe it's time for you to try doing the same in your life. We've reached the point where science, the supernatural, and philosophy converge. Azathoth can be a powerful metaphor to understand our position in a vast and uncertain cosmos. But instead of fearing chaos, why not accept it as part of a greater pact with existence? As we move forward, the next step is to explore how Lovecraft used Azathoth to reflect on human fragility and insignificance, reminding us that, even in the midst of chaos, there is something profoundly meaningful in our journey. Shall we continue? Lovecraft, with his unique view of horror, turned Azathoth into a symbol of what we call cosmic nihilism. For him, human existence is insignificant in the face of the vastness of an indifferent universe. It's a disturbing idea, but at the same time, liberating. After all, if everything is so small in relation to the cosmos, perhaps our daily worries aren't as heavy as they seem. Many esoteric and occult traditions see this perspective as an opportunity to transcend the mundane. How about applying this to your life? Think about how letting go of certain anxieties can free your energy for bigger things. Azathoth forces us to ask, what is the purpose of our existence? This question has tormented philosophers and spiritual seekers for centuries. For Gnosticism, the purpose may be to escape the illusion of the physical world. However, Lovecraft suggests that there is no purpose at all, which leaves us free to create our own meaning. Imagine this as a pact with your essence. you have the power to shape your reality. Try writing down your greatest passions and how you can invest in them. It's an act of self-discovery, and who knows, you might find something surprising about yourself. There is something profoundly human in seeking meaning within chaos. Lovecraft portrays Azathoth as an indifferent force, but we have the ability to give meaning to things. This is reflected in simple practices like gratitude. Many occult rituals begin with giving thanks to entities or higher forces. How about adapting this to your daily life? Before going to bed, write down 3 things you are grateful for. This small act can help you find order amidst chaos, strengthening your connection to what truly matters. Another crucial aspect of cosmic nihilism is humility. When you recognize your smallness in the face of the universe, it becomes easier to cultivate empathy and accept that not everything is within your control. Think about this the next time you face difficulty. Maybe you're spending energy fighting against something you can't change. Books like The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle help us understand how living in the present moment can bring peace. It's almost as if you make a pact with yourself to accept what is, rather than resist. Invocation rituals, so common in occultism, can be interpreted as attempts to give shape to what is incomprehensible. Lovecraft shows us that trying to understand Azathoth is futile, but the effort itself is meaningful. Perhaps this is a lesson: the journey matters more than the destination. In esotericism, this is represented by rituals that connect the practitioner to a higher purpose, even without a guarantee of success. Have you ever tried creating your own rituals? It could be something simple, like meditating daily or writing an intention journal. Azathoth reminds us that the unknown doesn't need to be feared. On the contrary, it can be a source of inspiration. Occultism and Gnosticism often teach that it is in the void that we find true potential. So, the next time you feel lost, think about this: the void might be an invitation to something new. Try visualizing chaos as a blank canvas, ready to be filled with your intentions. As we dive deeper into the universe of Azathoth, we realize that it's not just an entity of chaos, but a mirror of our own insecurities and potentials. Lovecraft gives us a brutal but necessary reminder: life is as fragile as it is beautiful. Now, we move forward to explore the deeper philosophical resonances of this concept, including ideas of perception and consciousness that might change the way you see reality. Shall we go on? Azathoth, with his dreamlike chaos, deeply resonates with the philosophical ideal of George Berkeley: perception as the basis of existence. For Berkeley, the material world exists only because it is perceived. Now imagine, what if Azathoth, in his unconscious state, were a metaphor for what is not perceived? It's frightening to think that perhaps everything you know depends on an observer. In occultism, the idea of entities shaping reality through pacts and invocations seems to echo this concept. Try this: reflect on what you choose to perceive in your life and how that defines your world. Hegel's philosophy also offers a fascinating parallel. According to him, the cosmos is in constant evolution, a universal consciousness seeking to understand itself. Azathoth, on the other hand, is the opposite: fixed, indifferent, and blind. This contrast provokes reflection on the role of humanity. Perhaps we are the means by which Azathoth's unconscious chaos can gain meaning. Many esoteric traditions teach that by meditating or performing rituals, we can connect to a higher consciousness. Try something practical: start with 5 minutes of daily introspection to explore this idea of connection. Berkeley also believed that God was the ultimate observer, ensuring the existence of everything. What if Azathoth, in his chaotic nature, were a dark parody of this idea? Instead of divine order, we have absolute chaos, without intention or purpose. This thought can be uncomfortable, but also liberating. In Gnosticism, liberation comes from understanding the world as an illusion. How about applying this? Try questioning what you consider real. Could some of your concerns be just reflections of something that doesn't matter as much as it seems? Another intriguing philosophical echo is Nietzsche's idea of eternal recurrence. If Azathoth constantly dreams, creating and recreating reality, are we trapped in an infinite cycle? Lovecraft doesn't offer answers, but he forces us to confront the possibility. In occultism, the cycle of creation and destruction is central to many rituals. You can use this idea as inspiration, create small rituals of renewal for your life. How about starting over on a project that seemed lost? Sometimes, destroying to recreate is the only way to move forward. Azathoth also raises questions about the meaning of consciousness. If everything is a chaotic dream, what does it mean to be awake? This question echoes in philosophical and spiritual traditions that seek self-knowledge. In practice, esotericism teaches us that rituals are tools to wake up from an illusory reality. An example would be guided meditation, which can help you explore the recesses of your mind and find new perspectives. Try starting with simple practices, like creative visualization, to access deeper dimensions of your consciousness. There's also a touch of dark humor in the idea that Azathoth is the unconscious creator of the universe. This reminds us of Sartre's famous quote, "Hell is other people." What if Azathoth's chaos were merely a projection of our own insecurities? Occultism often explores this dynamic, suggesting that facing our inner demons is the first step to turning chaos into order. Think of something practical. List your greatest worries and face them as entities, to be understood, not feared. As we explore these philosophical resonances, Azathoth emerges not just as a terrifying figure but as a mirror of humanity's greatest questions. Lovecraft forces us to confront chaos, but he also gives us tools to find order within it. And now, let's go further, examining how these ideas can be directly applied to your life, creating a pact with the unknown to transform your own reality. Are you ready to take that step? If you've made it this far, it's because something in Azathoth caught your attention. Perhaps it was the mystery, or maybe the fascination with chaos. The truth is, the universe is as vast and incomprehensible as our own mind. But what if you could use all of this to your advantage? What are you waiting for to start exploring your reality with new eyes? You can choose to face the chaos and transform it into your greatest strength. Now, it's up to you. Respond in the comments with the keyword awakening, activating your connection to the universe. And of course, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and leave a like. This way, you won't miss any of the upcoming content that could change your perspective on life and the supernatural. Are you ready to make your pact with the unknown?